We shall submit our grateful pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan and go through. Let's have some glimpses of Bhagwan in the life of a bhakta. Shri Chandrashekar ji, the headmaster of MBBS Giant School. And for today, we shall see how Bhagwan played his role in the life of this bhakta. Before we go through 2 or 3 incidents of Shri Chandrashekar ji's life, let us have what Bhagwan said on 2 occasions. It brought out a message from him that's meant for everybody. Once, Shri Omprakash Yogini and Shri Murugadas of Ramji Ashram, Kumara Kovil in Kanyakumari district. This was the first ashram that came up for Bhagwan. The second was Kanimata, where a stone statue, a stone image of Bhagwan was kept for worship. Omprakash Yogini, when she came to Bhagwan at Sannidhi Street House, when they were all seated, somebody said to Bhagwan, "Swami, I'm a heart patient. The doctors have given up hope completely. I'm a hopeless case. Please save me, Swami." Bhagwan became quiet for a moment and then spoke. "Omprakash Yogini, this beggar is no doctor. He has not done any MBBS. Here, blood test, urine test, laboratory equipment. Nothing of this kind. Yet, many patients come here. This beggar complained to father. Then my father gave this beggar a special medicine, a wonderful medicine. Not only will this medicine cure diseases of the body, but also the very disease of the cycle of birth and death. This beggar now distributes this medicine to everyone who comes here. They were all listening to him with rapt attention. And Bhagwan smiled and said, "You people know what this medicine is?" Of course, everybody knew, but they also doubted whether they knew it at all. Then Bhagwan said, "It is this beggar's name, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, the best medicine for all diseases of the body and also the very disease of the cycle of birth and death." Now let's shift over to another scene again in Sannidhi Street House. I think it was 1980. One day, Shri Ramakrishna Iyer of the Tapovanam came to have Darshan of Bhagwan with his wife Lakshmi. Bhagwan was paying special attention to Lakshmi, and then he asked her, he said, Lakshmi, the whole day today, whatever you want, you can ask this beggar. Whatever you want. You please tell me what you want. Whatever you want, you can ask this beggar today. The whole day. Lakshmi, wife of Shri Ramakrishna Iyer, said, Swami, I do not know anything. What do I know? I don't read anything. I cannot read anything. It's my husband here who used to read Ramayana, Bhagavatam. And he would also say something from these books. I never read anything, Swami. So I do not know anything. Lakshmi, do you know why people are reading all that? I don't know, Swami. Then Bhagavan went on. Shri Rama, Krishna, they played many Leelas, and those Leelas are delightful. They're all sweet experiences. And people read Bhagavatam and Ramayana to enjoy these Leelas of Rama and Krishna. Not only that, after reading them, when you recall any of these incidents, any of these Leelas, you get the same benefit that you get when you read it. When you read the Leelas of Rama and Krishna, you read something written by someone else. Whereas now, you people are moving with great Mahatmas. And there are many Leelas of these people. Why don't you remember whatever you experienced, whatever you enjoyed, the Leelas of the Mahatmas that you enjoyed so much? You can remember, you can recall it. And rejoice in it. Then also you get the same benefit. Now that particular day, he made these people stay till evening. And he was all attention on Lakshmi, the wife of Shri Ramakrishna Iyer. Every now and then he would ask her if she wanted anything from us. What a fortune that Bhagwan should ask a devotee, you can ask anything you want. What do you want from this beggar? And he was waiting for a reply. Now he made them stay till the evening and then blessed them nicely and sent them away. And Shri Ramakrishna Iyer says that was her last darshan of Bhagwan, and Bhagwan knew it. 3 years after this darshan, she could not come to Tiruvannamalai at all for his darshan. And that's how she passed away also, without meeting him again. And of course, Bhagwan knew that was the last darshan, so he was all attention. And he kept on asking her what she wanted from him. Now, we know from these conversations two things, that his name is a mantra packed with power and grace, and that is the medicine, the all-time medicine, the elixir for all diseases of the body and the mind. Why? It is the medicine for the disease of the continued cycle of birth and death. And from the next scene, we understand that remembering the Leelas of great Mahatmas is like remembering the Leelas of Krishna in Bhagavatam, the Leelas of Rama in Ramayana. And Bhagwan says, you will get the same benefit, what you get by reading Bhagavatam, by recalling your own experiences with the Master, you get the same effect, the same benefit. So our remembering the Leelas of Bhagwan one after the other, day after day after day, is equivalent to reading Ramayana, equivalent to reading Bhagavatam. And the Leelas of Chandrashekar, Leelas of Lord Shiva. So these two important things that we learn from this experience. Now we should go to Sri Chandrashekar ji, who was the principal, the headmaster of the VDS Giant School, Tiruvannamalai. The school is still being run by the Giants. Now Chandrashekar ji in 1987, for the first time, he came to Bhagwan, Sannidhi Street House, and the whole year he used to come at 6:30 to the doorstep of Bhagwan, and then Bhagwan would call him in and make him read some books, and then the newspaper. This was his daily routine. So 1 year, continuously, day after day after day, he was doing it. And then somehow, 3 months passed without Chandrashekar ji coming to the house of Bhagwan. We do not know what excuse was there. Somehow, he could not come. So one day when he went there to the temple with his daughter, he saw Bhagwan seated in a corner. Immediately he ran to him and prostrated before Bhagwan. Bhagwan, for his part, turned his face away and said, "Go away. Don't come here. Don't come to see this beggar hereafter." So after Bhagwan said this, naturally, Sri Chandrashekar ji was very hurt, and he realized his mistake, that he did not go to Swami at all for 3 months. He just stopped it all of a sudden, abruptly. And of course he vowed an explanation for his absence, because Bhagwan would not allow everybody like that. If he allowed somebody at a certain time, every day, day after day after day, it must have had special meaning. Despite all this, he stopped going to Bhagwan all of a sudden, and he did not go at all for the next 3 months. So he was very, very hurt, he was very upset, and he was crying so much that he behaved like this with Bhagwan, and Bhagwan said, "Go away, don't come to see this beggar." He felt so terrible. The next day, again, like before, he came at 6:30 and was standing there outside the gate, tears streaming down. But to the surprise of Chandrashekar ji, Bhagwan came out with a smile, opened the door widely and said, "Come, come, Chandrashekar ji. This beggar has been expecting you. This beggar has been waiting for you." And then he laughed. And the way he laughed, Chandrashekar ji relaxed. He knew that Swami did not entertain any enmity or hatred towards him because he failed to come those 3 months. He understood Swami was an incarnate of compassion and that it was special grace for him. After that, he never missed a single session. Every day morning, he would go and report to Swami promptly. Shri Chandrashekar ji says once he had gone with his whole family to Kodaikanal. And there, after going around, when they boarded the car wouldn't move because it was cold, perhaps so cold. Something happened to the engine. It was not moving. And then Chandrashekar ji looked around. There was nobody to be seen. It was completely deserted. But then Chandrashekar ji had this wonderful mantra. He always referred to this name, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, as a wonderful mantra. So he started to say, "Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar," and praying to him for help. And suddenly out of nowhere, 4 people came because the whole street was deserted. Nobody was to be seen, but as soon as he started chanting the name of Bhagwan Yogi Ramsuratkumar, within minutes, 4 people approached and asked them what they wanted, and then they pushed the car ahead. Chandrashekar ji packed off his family people to Tiruvannamalai. He wanted to see his old mother who was staying in Kulattur. So from Kodaikanal, he went to Kulattur to see his aged mother. His brother was with the mother. And that night at 8:30, suddenly Chandrashekar ji, to his dismay, found that he was paralyzed, completely paralyzed. He was unable to move his hands or legs. He was unable to move his tongue. He was unable to speak also. He was completely incapacitated. And then he did not know what to do. So those people desperately were trying to dial to a doctor so that they could rush him to a hospital. But Chandrashekar ji thought, "What is this? I have a wonderful mantra with me. Why should I go to a doctor? What are these people attempting? I have a wonderful mantra." So he gestured to them and then he chanted, "Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya," 3 times. And then he asked his brother to bring some vibhuti given by Bhagwan. He put it in water and drank up the whole thing. And the wonder of wonders, within minutes, Chandrashekar ji says, his whole body resumed action. He was now able to move his limbs. He was able to get up and sit. And then he was able to get up and walk. Within minutes, gradually everything returned. The strength returned to his limbs. And he was able to walk. He says, that is how wonderful this mantra is. That's how it's packed with energy, with grace and power. Chandrashekar ji says in his article, what we require for this mantra to work is absolute faith. Faith, unshakable faith in Bhagwan. That I am chanting this mantra will do what is needful. I should not doubt it. Then everything would happen as you want. Now, the next day he rushed to Tiruvannamalai and immediately came over to Sudama. At the time, Lakshmi had already bought a garden for Bhagwan, and Bhagwan was seated there in the garden with all of us. Chandrashekar ji, as soon as Chandrashekar ji entered, the first thing that Bhagwan asked, to our surprise, Chandrashekar ji, what happened yesterday? And then began to laugh, his thunderous laughter, inimitable. In 1993, BDS Giant School constructed a basketball playground. The teacher who went to Vellore to get permission, the official permission from the authorities, met with an accident, a very bad accident, and he took a lot of time to recover, and still he was unable to function fully. So there was every doubt that he would be able to attend the function at all, for which he went and got permission. Bhagwan touched him, touched his body, and revived the strength. So he slowly began to move about. Strength was returning to his body. Now Chandrashekar ji, it suddenly struck him on the day of the opening ceremony of this basketball playground. It was about 6:30 in the morning. He had gone to Sannidhi Street House as usual, and suddenly it struck him to invite Bhagwan to come and grace the function at the school. He never did it before, but then the thought struck him and he immediately acted. So with folded hands he asked Bhagwan if he could kindly attend the function at the school. All the time thinking that, oh, Bhagwan won't come. He has never done anything of the sort before. So he might say no. But to his great surprise, Bhagwan said, yes, Chandrashekar ji, this beggar would come now. Chandrashekar ji could not believe his ears that Bhagwan said yes. And what was more, within minutes Bhagwan was ready to go. He even locked the houses. Chandrashekar ji used to go by bike to Bhagwan's place. So Bhagwan asked for an auto, and then he sat there in the auto, and Chandrashekar ji was riding the scooter in the front, and Bhagwan followed him in the auto. Bhagwan said, Chandrashekar ji, we have to go to Sudama and Ramananagar. The day was 29th October 1993. Bhagwan was still living in Sannidhi Street House. There was no idea at all for anybody that Bhagwan would move over to Sudama next month. Bhagwan was living there in Sannidhi Street House as usual, because after Sudama's Grihapravesam, the entry function, Bhagwan did not come to Sudama at all for 1 year. Now today, suddenly Bhagwan said cheerfully, this beggar would come, Chandrashekar ji, and asked him to bring an auto. And then he said, Chandrashekar ji, you go in the front, this beggar will follow you. And Bhagavan said, Chandrashekar ji, let's go to Sudam. So about 7 o'clock, there was a knock on the door. I was seated there in the puja room before Bhagavan, chanting his name, and suddenly there was this knock at the door. So I rushed out, little knowing who was there standing. When I opened the gate, you can imagine how I would have reacted. It was Bhagwan standing there right at the doorstep, and there was an auto behind, and Chandrashekar ji had got down from the scooter. Then immediately, with folded hands, I took them inside. When they were seated, Bhagwan suddenly said, Devaki, this beggar would give you just 10 minutes. This beggar has to go somewhere. This beggar would like you to come with him. This beggar would give you only 10 minutes. Get ready. So immediately, of course, I got ready. And then Bhagwan said, come with me in the auto. So both of us sat there in the auto, and Chandrashekar ji was moving in the front. He was riding the scooter, and we followed him in the auto. And then Bhagwan said, Chandrashekar ji, we would come to your place, your house first, and then we would go to the school. So Bhagwan took me to Chandrashekar ji's house there. And then we had this morning breakfast there. His mother, that is Chandrashekar ji's wife, cooked some food for us, and Bhagwan made some announcements there. He told Chandrashekar ji that Devaki has been begging this beggar for quite a few years to serve him. Father would not give his consent, but today Father has given consent. This beggar has accepted her service. It would be very difficult for her. People would throw stones at her. She will have to go through many hardships. But Father wants it. And then he said, we'll go to your school, Chandrashekar ji. So immediately we shifted. We went to the school there, VDS Giant School. And the teachers were all delighted. They were surprised by Swami's visit. And then there was a dais there in the playground. So Bhagwan went and sat there and gestured to me to come and sit. And then what was more, when the function was going on, suddenly Bhagwan called Chandrashekar ji and said, Devaki would speak something now on the mic. Because those people were asking Bhagwan to say something. Bhagwan said, this beggar cannot talk, Chandrashekar ji. Devaki would do it. And I had no idea at all that Bhagwan would come that morning, ask me to get ready, and then take me to Chandrashekar ji's house, and then to the school, and here we were sitting, and I had no idea what was happening at all. It took me some time to register even what was happening. And before they got through, Bhagwan was giving one command after the other, and I was rushed to act. But it didn't matter. The very fact that Bhagwan was with me was enough for me. I was very excited. Though I was confused, but I was also very excited and happy that Bhagwan came and took me out, and Bhagwan was with me. What more fortune do I need? So I spoke something. It was Bhagwan himself, because I had no idea what to speak and what it was, what the function was all about. And then Chandrashekar told me what this was, because people are speaking one after the other before me. So I spoke something. It must have been Bhagwan speaking through me, because I had no idea what I spoke. So Chandrashekar gave this chance to me to be with Bhagwan that day. Bhagwan was still living there. For one more month, till November 22nd, Bhagwan was living in Sannidhi Street House only. Of course, Bhagwan went to Sannidhi Street House, and then the same auto dropped me at Sudama. Now, after the ashram started, Bhagwan still allowed Chandrashekar to come every day to join him for the breakfast. One day, when we were all seated in breakfast hut, something very strange happened. We found something moving up the back of Chandrashekar, and of course we didn't notice it at all. But Chandrashekar felt something crawling on his back, and then with his one hand he pushed it away. And then we saw it. It was a snake. It was small though. And then it just snaked itself away. It crawled away from the hut. And then Bhagwan looked at him strangely. Then Bhagwan said, Chandrashekar, this beggar has something to tell you. This beggar wants you to be in Tiruvannamalai and not move out of Tiruvannamalai on any account. You have to stay put in Tiruvannamalai, not go anywhere until this beggar tells you. Of course, Chandrashekar folded his hands before him in namaskar and said, Swami, whatever you say, I would tell you first, and only if you would permit me, I would go. He agreed. But soon there was this Deepavali. And then her people were pestering him to come there and join him in Chennai. So Chandrashekar, after a few days, approached Bhagwan and said, Swami, those people are calling me, pestering me to come there. Can I go to Chennai for one day, just for one day? Swami became quiet. He did not answer immediately. He kept quiet. And then finally, somewhat reluctantly, he said, all right, Chandrashekar, you can go there, but only for one night. You have to return the next day morning. Chandrashekar happily agreed, and he left for Chennai. He also returned a little late. He had some work. Instead of coming before 6:30 in the morning and report to Bhagwan that he had come, something delayed him there, so he came a little late, by 9 o'clock or something. And after that, there was a lot of work to be done in the giant school. So instead of coming and seeing Bhagwan, he rushed to the school. And there was so much work for him. He stayed on in the school, and one after the other. By the time he returned home, it was 10:45 in the night. He came inside the house, just sat there and passed away. Just like that. There was no agitation, nothing. He must have had a heart attack. It was terrible, because the next day morning in Sudama, Bhagwan was looking at the amla tree, the gooseberry tree, and he was telling me, Devaki, they say that all the devatas are living at the root of this tree. This is a very divine tree, Devi. The leaves are all divine. Everything is medicine. It's a divine fruit. And then he was saying that he did not want anybody to pluck any fruit from that. If the fruits drop down, we could pick up and put it to use, but even for his sake, nobody should pluck any fruit from the tree. Such was his love for that, and he paid such attention to that. So just when he was telling me all those things, there was a knock at the door, and immediately I ran and opened that with his permission. And somebody entered only to pass on this news that Chandrashekar ji had passed away. Bhagwan became quiet. He nodded his head and sent him away. I felt terrible. And I was also thinking that why didn't Chandrashekar ji return the previous day? He should have come by 6:30 the previous day. After one night for Deepavali in Chennai, he should have come back and reported to Bhagwan by 6:30. But he did not turn up the whole day. And at the end of the day, by 10:45, he went home. It's terrible even to talk about this. But then there's a great lesson. When Bhagwan said something, it was very important for us to follow to the letter. All of us, many of his devotees have learned this lesson the hard way. The Guru is very kind in the beginning. He teaches you the soft way, but if you are very adamant and if you have your own ideas, then this is what happens. But Chandrashekar ji was very devoted to Bhagwan. But for this was a twist of circumstances. Probably the fate is always strong. The fate played its role. And of course Bhagwan had put a condition, and that was violated because the fate was too strong. So remembering all these things, we understand, we learn many lessons. And this Bhagwan is here right in front of us. One day, Bhagwan, in the breakfast hut, when Chandrashekar ji was seated there and all of us were seated, the breakfast hut behind the Pradhan Mandir, Bhagwan asked Chandrashekar ji, "You have two sons, both are auditors. Chandrashekar ji, will you give one of your sons to serve this beggar? This beggar would like him to serve this ashram." Chandrashekar ji immediately folded his hand in namaskar and said, "Swami, whatever I have is yours. You don't have to ask me at all." "Yes, Swamiji. Please take whatever you want, whoever you want." And that's how Auditor Suresh became the auditor of the ashram. Bhagwan requested him to serve the ashram. Till this day, Auditor Suresh is serving the ashram. The other brother, Ramesh, is in one of the Gulf countries. So Chandrashekar ji's service, the service of the family, continues till today through Auditor Suresh. Now we shall submit our today's prayers at the feet of Bhagwan. Bhagwan, kindly intervene immediately and stop the spread of the disease and remove panic from the hearts of people and protect all those who are fighting the disease at the very risk of their lives. And Bhagwan, they have found out a vaccine and the vaccination drive is on. Kindly enter this vaccine. You make it pretend that it could kill the virus without any side effects. And Bhagwan, please give a lift to the falling economy. Give a boost. And above all, please bless us to remember your name constantly and go about our everyday life as a fitting instrument in your hands. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.